caffeination is key. There's been many times where I've caffeinated myself during a podcast episode.
When are you not?
I had a headache, and I don't know if it was, when I had a really bad headache on Monday, I don't know if it was from, because I don't know if it was from the change in pressure, because it like rained a bunch, and seasons changing, or if it was because I realized that I had not had any caffeine in about 2 days.
Oh, Emma.
I had 2 cups of coffee today, though.
Have you seen my elbow after the fall?
No, but we are recording, so... Is that a rock or a scab?
No, scab. It's in that place, it keeps catching on my jumper, so I have to have the sleeve pushed up.
You're so hard done by.
I know. Silly. Well, you know what? I'm blaming the streets of Manchester for putting a bike lane where I was walking.
Is this when you fell? Okay, yeah. We're not gonna tell that story because we are recording, and I'm not gonna cut this part out. This is gonna go before our little slap shot sound.
Oh.
And hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of From the Fourth Line. My name's Emma, and I'm joined, as always, by my very lovely podcast co-host, Marcie.
Hello.
Hello. I guess we're gonna start with not even talking about NHL, even though there's 2 games today, or I think there's 2 games today.
Yeah,
there's 2 games today. There's Canes and New York, which Canes are up 1-0 on that game. 4 minutes into the second on a Martin Nature's goal.
Fun.
Yeah. Oh, now they're on the power play. And then Oilers and Canucks are later tonight at 10. That is a series that's going to 7 games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you watch any of the last game in that series, which was like 2 days ago?
No, I keep meaning to watch the highlights, and I've just not got around to it yet, which is really bad because I'll sit down and I'll just be like, right, I've got like a spare 10 minutes. I'm gonna watch the highlights. What do I not do?
Well, Edmonton was up 2-0. Going into the third, and then in the last 15 minutes of the third period, Vancouver ties it up on, I want to say, I know the Connor Garland was the first goal, but it was a Dakota Joshua, but I think everyone thought it was Brock Besser at first. No, because they changed it, and then they gave it to Dakota Joshua. So they did it again to Brock Besser, where they took away a goal from him to give it to someone else, probably because of a tip. But yeah. And then only for Evan Bouchard to win it 5-on-5. The way that it was set up, though, like 5-on-5, and there was 40 seconds left. But I will say the way that it was like set up, if you go back and watch the Evan Bouchard goal, which, by the way, probably an underrated pick in fantasy for me this year. I had him on my fantasy roster, and he did very well. I guess that's what happens when you're usually out there with, like, Leon Draisaitl or Connor McDavid. Also on the power play. Things happen. But, like, the setup, it almost looked like there was a 6-on-5. There was a power play or something for Edmonton because of the control that they had in Vancouver's zone.
Oh. No, I remember I didn't watch it, but I was sat getting
awake.
I was awake as it happened, and then I think I just got so sick of it when I saw the score. I just went to bed. Seth Jarvis just scored.
Oh, it's 2-0 now.
Oh, yay!
I would love to have a conversation with Seth Jarvis.
Oh my god, Seth Jarvis,
we'd have a laugh.
Love the podcast.
We would have a laugh with it. He seems like he's hilarious.
Yeah. I'm just obsessed with him.
Oh my god, yeah. Where's this game? Is in New York too? Or where is this? Or is this in Carolina? I think this is in Carolina. Yeah, PNC, yeah, it is in Carolina. So, like, that's a hard building to play in as a visiting team. The Leafs minus Joseph Wool could tell you that. Maybe you just have to be well rested.
Oh,
Sorry. This podcast isn't going to make any sense.
no, I feel like that's acceptable considering it's 1 a.m. and I've spent all day.
It's 8 p.m. I just got back from dinner with my parents, so yeah. Of course, that conversation ended with me and my dad having a very passionate discussion about
Oh,
the state of the Leafs free agency and John
Oh.
Tavares' contract.
how fun that was.
Oh yeah.
So jealous that wasn't me.
Actually, I think you would probably reach across the table and try to strangle him.
I'm just like looking.
It's always so fun trying to explain to your dad that no, the guy that you signed when he was 27 will not perform the same way that he will at 33. Even though you're paying him the same amount of money.
I just.
Actually, no, you're not. I think his salary is like ridiculously low now because his contract was so front loaded.
Mm.
It's just like that's the thing where I'm like, you're not even paying him $11 million anymore. That's just like how much he costs in imaginary like NHL Monopoly money.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's what's so funny is that the NHL operates on two different monies. It's like the money you're actually giving an NHL player, and then the money that they are worth in like Gary Bettman dollars, which is like their annual their cap hit. Their cap hit is not usually the same as their salary.
No, it's.
But anyways, yeah, I don't even know where we want to start. We were talking about Oilers and Canucks. I just wanted to say that I think that series is going to 7 games. If I'm gonna put money on it, I think it's going to 7 games. But yeah, which is good for the Canadian broadcasters who have to milk the fact that the amount of Canadian hockey teams they can have in the playoffs at one
Canucks
time.
in 7. Canucks in 7.
I think that's actually what I put on my original.
I have the Canucks winning now, so like.
I never did my second chance bracket, but I probably would still keep the Stars in the final.
I can't remember who I had in mind. I think I had Canucks and
Rangers
Canes.
or Canes. I don't know. I think if the Rangers can pull it off and not flame out, I don't know. I think they could break the curse. I think it's a really good Rangers team. Maybe I just have a soft spot for the New York Rangers, which I've been guilty of having before.
Yeah, you see that's the problem. You believe in them, and you have a soft spot for them. I don't want them to win it because I don't like.
That's where we differ. Is I actually quite like the New York Rangers because they've endeared me with the power of Jimmy Vesey and J-Sex. I can't say that in the pod.
Do it.
I just realized I can't say that.
Oops.
I can keep the Jimmy Vesey part and I can't keep the second part.
Oh.
Jimmy Vesey and I don't know, goalies. Like I like Igor Shesterkin.
Little Miss Vanilla.
Hey, look, they have some cool guys. I don't know. I just they ran a kid line last season and that really deeply endeared me. To the point where like I got really into them because I have a friend who's a big Rangers fan and they were like, oh, here's all these fun Ranger lore facts that I now know. And also here's a kid line that they made. And now I want the Leafs to make a kid line, which we'll talk about that in this really fun segment where I now transfer to the London Knights won the OHL championship. Last night, the London Knights won a win in the OHL final over the Oshawa Generals in a 7-1 game to complete the sweep. Leafs prospect Easton Cowan, who was their first overall pick last year in the draft, wins playoff MVP. He's the first player to win the regular season MVP and the playoff MVP for the OHL in the same season since Mitch Marner, who did it in the 2015-2016 season. The player to do it before Mitch Marner was, of course, Connor McDavid, which...
Oh, the narratives.
Oh, yeah, no, the narratives made me want to claw my eyes out last night before I switched over to the PWHL game, and that also made me want to claw my eyes out for different reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, Easton Cowan scored 34 points in 18 playoff games for the London Knights, which is
not real.
ridiculous, and therefore the London Knights are going on to the Memorial Cup, where they will play in Saginaw, so they will play the Saginaw Spirit, the Moose Straw Warriors, who swept their series over. I was just watching part of that game, and now I don't remember who. It was Portland Winterhawks, and then the Drummondville Voyageurs from the Q, who also swept their series. So I think it was like I believe, I don't want to say it's the first time ever, but it's the first time. If it's not the first time ever, it's the first time in a really long time that all three of the teams that have to play to qualify for the Mem Cup, aka not the hosts, have swept each of their respective league finals.
Yes, I saw that somewhere.
I don't know what. Is it the first ever, or is it the first in since a very?
I think it's the first in a long.
It's either the first in the really long time or the first ever. Either way, it's incredibly impressive and just shows you kind of the powerhouse of those teams going in. And I almost feel bad for Saginaw, but I know the Saginaw the Saginaw Spirit's still a pretty good team, and also as well have that home crowd advantage, although I'm sure there will be a large turnout for all of those other respective fan bases, especially London. I think those two are, Saginaw's in Michigan, so I think they're kind of close together. I don't know where Saginaw is in Michigan. I just know it's in Michigan. Are you looking it up?
No, I just had a notification. Not an interesting one, but I thought it was.
I thought you were adding what I said earlier to your little notes app. I feel like that's already in there, though.
That was I wrote that down in a notebook instead.
Oh no! I'm so afraid of when you drop the super cut of just all the out of pocket things I've said on the show. But that would require you to go back and re-listen to episodes, which you cannot do. For the life of you. I feel like you're just gonna get Cal to do it.
Yeah. I mean, I'll just start making note of the episode and roughly when. Just you it.
I'm so
it gets
afraid.
to the point where it's you do one tiny thing that annoys me, and I'm like, right, well, I know what I'm doing. Send tweet.
Either that, I'm so afraid because my birthday is right around the same time that we started the show. It's a couple weeks after. I'm so afraid. You have too many options. Why did I tell you this? Why? But yeah, so the Mem Cup starts on May 24th, which is next week, in Saginaw. Fun fact about the Mem Cup: the past 4 or 5. This is a fact I learned from the TSN broadcast and then didn't write down. Mem Cup winners have all come from, well, not all from the Q, but the Q has put up a fight recently, and done pretty well at the Mem Cup. So we'll see how the Drummondville Voyageurs do, but I don't know. I have my money on the Knights. They are a very good team. And also maybe I'm biased because now we won't get to see Fraser Minton and Easton Cowan face off against each other at the Mem Cup. So
good night.
And that end, folks, now we're gonna end. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Junior hockey is really fun. I just never had the energy to get into it because I don't know. It's hard when you live in Toronto because I guess I could be a fan of the Steelheads, but the Steelheads were never very good when I was a kid. I'm gonna be honest, they weren't. And I was more likely to become a Steelheads because I grew up on the west end of the city. So I wasn't gonna be an Oshawa fan or something. I don't know. Junior hockey's just weird when you go up like in Toronto because you're just a Leaf fan instead.
Mm.
And so then, but I do have a soft spot for the Knights because I was 12 years old in 2015. The Mitch Marner effect that it had over middle school girls in Toronto in 2015, very, very real.
This is where I get very glad that I wasn't into hockey when I was like 12, because I would not have survived the Mitch Marner effect.
The Mitch Marner effect literally affects it. It affected my roommate. My roommate who only watches hockey because I have it on the TV. She has a Mitch Marner jersey. That's how hard the Mitch Marner effect swept through not even Toronto, just Southern Ontario in 2015. Oh. She has a Mitch Marner jersey. Oh, man, she's going to be heartbroken when he gets traded to Nashville for UC Soros. I say that as a joke. That's a joke.
We are joking. We would quite like to keep Mitch Marner. Thank you very much.
I will say though, having our mustache percentage go up with the acquisition of UC Soros would be pretty great.
It would. It'd work wonders for the mustache.
Speaking of mustaches and the Toronto Maple Leafs, Connor Dewar is alive and well. He was seen spotted at a Minnesota Twins game, arm in sling, meaning I hope the surgery was successful. That he had.
His arm is still attached.
His arm is still attached to his body. Positive. It wasn't a sling, which is expected. He was sporting not a brand new mustache, but the Dewstache is back. Hasn't been seen since the month of November this year. It is better than November's edition, I will say. I think maybe because it's partially some leftover from his playoff beard, but Dew's doing well, and that's good. Hopefully we see him come back. I'm waiting for that contract extension. Now that I know that he's alive, I'm like, okay, Brad, where's the contract extension?
Well, I mean, you can't say, oh yeah, he'll be fine for training camp, and then just like, you can't.
Yeah, you can't be like, oh, he'll be, because people are like, well, what if he's just like telling that to other teams? I'm like, you still like wouldn't say it like that, especially with like how he talked about Ilya Samsonov compared to Joseph Woll. Like, he knew what players he wanted to bring back.
Yeah. It's very clear when you listen to how they're all spoken about, where it's like you've got, oh yeah, he'll be fine for September, even though we don't have him signed yet. He'll be fine for September, and then you've got, yeah, Samsonov was good, but
also I think his qualifying offer is like $8,500 or $890,000 or something, but that there's like, I think it would only then be a 1 year if you sign him to his qualifying offer. So they want maybe something a little bit more long term, but like, why would you let that walk?
It'd be stupid.
It'd be stupid. Just sign with a good old Brad Treliving special of 1.35 for 3 years. You just have 4 guys on the exact same contract.
Oh, we're gonna see how many can we get.
How many Brad Treliving specials can we get? I don't know enough about Brad Treliving's like signing history to know if that's like routinely a contract that he signs guys to. I almost want to like do a deep dive into the Flames and see, but we don't have time to do that now. Maybe I'll do that before next Monday's episode, and I'll bring it up with my findings on Brad Treliving's contract history. But yeah, because I don't know. That was never something Kyle Dubas like had. He didn't have like a cookie cutter contract where he was just like, oh, you're doing pretty okay, and we want to give you more money so that you'd stay, but like, and we have to re-sign you, but like, we don't want to give you too much that we can't like bury you in the Marlies. Here's a contract. Like, he never had that.
No.
But yeah, and more seeing Leafs that are alive and well. Timothy Liljegren has been spotted. He's alive and well. Nicholas Robertson posted his end of season post, which had a very hopeful caption to his return.
It did.
It was not a goodbye Toronto post. It was a end of season post.
It was I'll be back.
I really hope so. And I'm trying to think of like, oh yes, Fraser Minton did an interview with Mark Masters from TSN, which is like 8 minutes long. Go listen to it. He's such a well-spoken kid.
Man.
He's so well-spoken. The way he spoke. I will say the people who are like, oh, why does he want to go watch Canucks game? Maybe because he's from BC. Like,
brain, use it, please. I beg.
There's an extreme lack of critical thinking that's going on Leafs Twitter right now, where it's just literally you say anything positive about any player that doesn't like, and they're like, oh, gonna go after like.
No, it's like you say anything good about anyone, and it's like you just have a group of like five, like at least six, like of the.
And it's always the same people,
exact same people, who like they act like you've just gone and like drop kicked a child,
grandma, in front of them.
It's like I just drop kicked your nan. It's like, no, I haven't. I've just said Mitch Marner. I'm excited to see Mitch Marner play again next year. Oh, I love Mitch Marner.
Someone said something nice about like how like Mitch Marner, like if you run into him in the park and he's with his dog and you ask him about his dog, he will fully have like a full conversation with you about his dog. I'm like, and people were like being weird about that. I'm like, dude, that's literally, you talk to any dog owner, they will spend a full conversation with you talking about their dogs.
Exactly. And it's like
coming from someone who's dating someone who owns a dog.
Oh,
I have talked about my boyfriend's dog so many times. I even will talk about her. I'll talk about my boyfriend. It's not my dog. Love her though. Love her to death. She's a great dog.
Oh.
We get along. We bond.
Best friends.
Best friends. But or like I can't even remember like what it was where like someone said something. Oh yes. John Tavares this was after they came back, but after Austria came back to tie it after being down 6-1, came back to tie it 6-6, send the game into overtime. John Tavares won the overtime winner, 15 seconds, which by the way, I saw him like start 3-on-3 overtime. I looked down at my phone to type out John Tavares starting 3-on-3 overtime. Gave me like it made my eye twitch. I watched him look up, scored. It was 15 seconds into overtime, and I immediately deleted that tweet. I was like, and discard that.
Wipe it from existence. I never said that. What do you mean?
Maybe like that's the thing where I was like, wait, what do you mean? Like, I don't think we've ever seen John Tavares in 3-on-3 overtime work for the Leafs this season.
No.
Someone's gonna be like, actually, there was this one time they won and he started, and they're gonna send a video and it's gonna be like, I don't know, the game against Anaheim.
Oh, don't mention that game.
I think about that game all the time. Dossel stood on his head. It was like what, 49 shots or something.
Yeah,
Kid is also, I think he's doing really well for Czechia at Worlds as well. He's there with them. But I think like afterwards they interviewed him because captain and also OT winner, and he was like, "Oh, we have some lessons we have some lessons to take away from this that we can learn." And people went crazy over it, and I was like, "Guys, it's a Worlds game in which it's what their third game at Worlds in the tournament. They still won. They're still leading their group. And you're going to get mad about a comment that he said literally like 2 minutes after scoring an OT win. Like, guys, literally 2 minutes after the game had ended. Like, guys, come on. Like, we're reading that much into this comment. It's going to be a really long summer if you read that much into every single thing that any Toronto Maple Leaf player says for the rest of the summer. It's not even June yet. It is still May.
We will never know peace.
Like, Guys, like that's the thing where if you really stop caring about the Leafs, the season's over. As I sit here as we talk about the Leafs, but we have a hockey podcast and Marcie doesn't watch enough baseball for me to talk about baseball, nor does Marcie watch enough IndyCar for us to just switch to an Indy 500 podcast for the month of May.
I'm sorry. I have exams and
I thought you were about to say I have a life, and I was gonna make a really mean comment about that. That's not true because you do have a life.
Well, go on.
But yeah, if you guys really want to stress about a team that doesn't score despite having other metrics that are pretty good, go watch the Toronto Blue Jays. They don't score, but their pitching isn't bad, and their defense is actually not half terrible. They just can't score runs to save their life, and therefore you will get mad when the team only allows 3 runs but still loses.
Yeah, that just sounds a lot like my softball team last year.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I'm get into another sport. Watch the Blue Jays. I don't know, TFC apparently is having a not half bad season this year, despite being god awful last year. And I think the CFL is starting up soon. I don't know. They just announced the schedules for the NFL season. Did you see some of those videos?
No, I don't pay attention to.
I don't know. I got 7 of them in a row on my
stuff.
TikTok For You page this morning.
Interesting.
The Chargers did theirs where they did it in the Sims.
Stop.
I'll send it to you. It was pretty good. I actually thought that.
I need to find myself a summer sport.
Baseball. Do baseball.
Yeah, I tried
or
baseball.
IndyCar. Just get into the sports I'm into.
This is your plan all along.
It's exactly what's my plan all along. I get you so attached to Toronto sports teams that you just then have to come move and live with me.
Oh my god. Guys, she's obsessed with me. I actually love my fans.
But yeah.
In all fairness, in my defense, I did watch Blue Jays a bit last summer. I just never fully got into it, but maybe I will this year. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what other summer sports you could get it. I mean, the Olympics are coming up. That's this summer.
I love the Olympics.
I'm a big Olympics fan.
Mm.
I don't know if everything about me gave that away though.
Yeah. It's oh, I'm a big Olympics fan. Really? God, who would have thought?
Specifically the Winter Olympics, but that's because I'm biased.
Yeah, just a little bit.
And maybe, it doesn't, have to do anything with, I don't know, Sidney Crosby or the fact that the sport that I did growing up is a Winter Olympic sport. Rowing is fun to watch at the Olympics because it's better to watch on TV than in person.
That's true. No. I'll get myself a summer sport.
We'll find you one.
Yeah, we'll find me one. Next week.
Yeah, some more Leafs news. TJ Brodie apparently is expected to pursue free agency. Gonna miss Thomas James. That just means they have to get another guy with a 2-name first name that's been shortened into letters, because my favorite thing to do was to full name TJ Brodie.
Oh, absolutely.
Once I discovered that his full name was Thomas James, I used that way too often.
All the time. No, we're gonna have to find ourselves someone else who's gonna walk in with his shirt practically all the way unbuttoned.
4 buttons. 4 buttons.
At what point is he just gonna turn up and just not button up at all?
Bare chested under the suit jacket.
Just a single one done up in the middle.
No, but I think he's rubbing off on some of the guys, because more and more of them by the end of the season, before we lost suit picks, were 4 buttons undone.
And I'm okay, I see you. Maybe that's why we lost suit picks. They were just being a bit too
They
slow.
had fully, like, I'm trying to think of what movie it is where it's like they've got, it's like the. Am I just thinking of Mamma Mia?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think you might be. Oh my god.
Oh, jeez. Anyways, guys, look, we're almost at the off season. We have to do these. We have to keep making these episodes until halfway through July, and it's very slow right now. Besides talking about playoff hockey, and we're losing it slow more and more as we go through the season.
Oh,
Leafs haven't hired a new head coach yet. We're
yeah.
running out of things.
We need something, please.
Tyler Bertuzzi apparently there's an extension worked on being in the works for him that's been put on hold until the Leafs find a new head coach to see where if he would potentially fit into whatever plan the new head coach has. 'Cause I don't know. This is all from like David Pagnotta. So he's usually a pretty reliable source for rumors like this, especially around free agency. But do take everything he says with a grain of salt. But it would be cool to have Bert back. And then also via Elliot Friedman, Craig Berube is all but signed for the head coaching position. There's just some contract details to get worked out. Apparently.
I personally think that they should hire me as the head coach and ask me what players fit into your plan.
You can't have 7 goalies. Because I know because if you get put in charge, you're just gonna be like, well, I want this goalie and I want that goalie and I want this goalie and I want that goalie, and Joseph Bull gets an 8x8.
And I'll be like, I'll take 2. Well, yeah, but would it be fun? Yes. Would it be the best team in the league? Yes. No one's scoring goals when you got 5 goalies on the ice.
Maybe they're just all busy fighting over the crease.
No, it's 5 goalies and Mitch Marner.
In goalie gear.
Mitch Marner in net.
We've all seen that one picture.
Oh.
But yeah, and more free agency news because I have it written all together in my notes. So David Rittich signs a 1-year, $1 million extension with the LA Kings, which leads to the conversation of what do they do with Cam Talbot. Victor Olofsson to leave Buffalo Sabres in free agency. He started his career with Buffalo in 2018-2019. Also one of those old guys besides Jeff Skinner.
The old guys.
Well, Jeff Skinner is the old guy, and it was his birthday today, and he turned, what, 32?
Yep, happy 32nd Jeff Skinner Day.
Also, happy 15th birthday, Jeff Skinner, because you still look that old.
Yeah.
I just know eventually one day he's going to play in the play. Please, I really do want Jeff Skinner to play in the playoffs, but he is going to play in the playoffs, and it's going to age him automatically.
He's gonna go in a game 1 and just looking like his normal self. He's gonna get to the end of the first period of game 1. He comes out, his beard is like dragging on the floor, wrinkles, crazy hair, grey.
Oh, like in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
He's gonna come up and he's gonna be like, guys, my back.
It is. I did not realize that the Buffalo Sabres fan base hated Jeff Skinner that much until I looked at the replies in his birthday post from the official Buffalo Sabres Twitter page. I didn't realize they hated him that much. I thought he was doing perfectly fine.
He is doing perfectly fine.
Considering he's 31 years old. Like, I don't know. I saw that. I was like, I thought he was pretty good this year.
You know, I have many words for the people in the replies to Jeff Skinner's birthday post, none of which I think are appropriate to say right now. But I hope everyone knows that I do have words for them.
Another Buffalo Sabre who will try his hand at free agency is Smingus Girgensson. He was drafted by Buffalo in 2012.
We can't leave.
Another one of those older veteran players. yet again,
No, but like,
making the Buffalo Sabres just not forget Kid Line. They are the kid team.
Zemgus, don't leave. I have a weird emotional attachment to that man.
Is it the name?
He's just little Blorbo.
You
He's
so
little
many of
Blorbo.
little Blorbos.
That's exactly why they should put me in charge of an NHL team. I will.
It's just an entire team of your Blorbos.
Yeah.
Bobby McMahon, you are a first line center.
Exactly. I'm so glad someone else understands me.
And then also as well, Alexander Barabanov will be attempting his chance at the free agent market and will be leaving the San Jose Sharks after getting traded there at the deadline.
Well, at least he'll know what it feels like to win a bit more.
Potentially, depending if he goes to Anaheim.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I think I'd rather be in Anaheim at this point.
I don't know, San Jose, like, that's the thing. Like, San Jose, you're playing with Macklin Celebrini.
True. Oh, that poor boy.
Hey, at least he's gonna look really great in teal.
He landed a good jersey.
I almost like that makes me feel like just really bad for Connor Bedard. He could have spent this season playing in that really great purple Ducks jersey.
Mm.
The one that I had Jamie Drysdale not gotten traded, I would have bought a Jamie Drysdale jersey in that purple 35th anniversary.
Yeah.
I just loved the purple and teal colorway, and I think it worked so well. And I think everything involving the downfall of the NHL aligns with both the LA Kings and the Anaheim Ducks taking the purple off of their jerseys.
Massively.
Put purple back on jerseys. I think we need more purple in sports.
We do. More purple in sports.
More purple in sports. Speaking of awards, I was going to go speaking of purple and we're going to talk about PWHL, but we'll stick with the NHL and we'll talk about the Mark Messier and the Bill Masterton Memorial Trophy. Bill Masterton Memorial Trophy is rewarded to the player who goes through the most hardship and overcomes the hardest difficulties throughout the course of an NHL season. It was won by Connor Ingram, which is really great, who was very vocal about his struggles with OCD and is a very big mental health advocate. He was having a pretty good season in Arizona and didn't do too bad. He did actually not bad on my fantasy team this year.
Yeah, I think he had a good season. I think he was on. I had him on one of my fantasy teams at one point. Yeah. For a while, actually.
So good for him. Congratulations for him. It's always really weird congratulating someone for the Bill Masterton though, because it's like, congrats on winning an award for like you went through the most shit.
Yeah. Like congrats on being the most traumatized player of the season.
Like, it's so weird because this also could have gone to Freddie Anderson, so it's like congrats for like it's like last year went to Chris Letang, so it was like very much a congrats for almost dying but still coming back and playing hockey award. But also sometimes if you look through, because on the like the wiki page for the Bill Masterton, they list all the winners and then they list like the reason why they won. And like sometimes it's like congrats on like a really long career of not winning anything but still being a really good player in the NHL.
Jeff's gonna.
But then sometimes it's congrats on almost dying on the ice, but then coming back to finish out the season, the next season. Like that's the thing where it's such a weird trophy. Like it's like kind of weird to congratulate a guy for it. Because it's like you almost die.
Because I'm like, yeah, you like had a really, really shit time, but like you get the trophy. Well done.
You don't get to go on stage or give a speech. Actually, I don't know if he's going to give a speech at the NHL Awards. That's what's weird. That's why I'm like, oh, I kind of like, you're taking away a lot of guys like their speeches and stuff by only doing like 5 awards at the NHL Awards. But maybe those guys will be there and like they'll say speech. I don't know.
Let Connor Ingram speak.
Let Connor Ingram speak. I want to hear him
Silence
talk.
and
I
goalies.
want to ask him about. Actually, I feel like you would want to ask him more about this, about his roller coaster tycoon.
Yeah.
And then the Marc Messier Award, which it went to Jacob Trouba, which, and this is why I wanted to bring up these awards just in general. The Marc Messier Award, and I don't know why we never learned this sooner. It's an award where it's just like the guy Marc Messier liked the most. You could rename it to the Marc Messier Blorbo Award.
Yeah, where's my award? Why do I not to give out an award?
The only thing that separates us from Marc Messier is that he has 6 cups and we have more hair.
And you know what? What's the better achievement? I think having more hair, personally.
I think it's the hair.
Yeah,
No.
I mean, you might have. Look, I have 1 cup right here.
Is that a Stanley Cup too?
It's a fake one because Stanley Cups are expensive, but
Yeah.
it's good enough.
Well, you didn't have to say it was a fake one, and I would have believed you. It looked close enough to the real thing to me.
I could just draw the little
Stanley. Hey, look, Stanley Cup right there. So we have one Stanley Cup.
I'll just print out a picture of the Stanley Cup and put it on here. He's called Stanley. That's his actual name. So.
Exactly, but I don't know. Like that's the thing where I was like, okay, so then who would get our if we were giving an official from the fourth line Blorbo award, who would get our official from the fourth line Blorbo award? And right, I feel like we are pretty adept at giving one, considering the name of our show is From the Fourth Line, and we specialize in bottom line Blorbos.
Decisions. You see, I'd have to go with this season. I think Bobby McMahon. We should make a little award.
We should make a little trophy. Try and find a way to send it to Bobby McMahon.
I'll get Canberra up, make the announcement post.
Bobby McMahon, for his list of achievements, which was he actually got injured at the start of the season, so was not on the Leafs roster on opening night. Ended up making the Leafs roster in November after Fraserman was sent back to Kamloops, and then proceeded to score his first NHL goal and then score his first NHL hat trick, to then forever be written in the history books with next to Austin Matthews, which is pretty great. Because in the same way where they bring up the 2 caps I can't remember when Alex Ovechkin and his teammates scored hat tricks in 3 consecutive games, Austin Matthews and Bobby McMahon did it in 3 consecutive games, and therefore Bobby McMahon will always be next to Austin Matthews, thus making them the same caliber of player.
Bobby McMahon, one of the greats.
Where was the Bobby McMahon for Heart conversation?
Oh.
We were so focused on our Joseph Wolfer Vezina campaign that we forgot.
I still think he was robbed.
So robbed.
Justice for next season.
Next season. I think he was robbed for Calder though. If he didn't get hurt, I would get really mad if he was not in that conversation.
No, because he very much would have been. And it makes me so mad.
Because I think more goalies should win the Calder.
Yeah. What?
More goalies should win awards that are not explicitly goalie awards.
Yeah. It's where's the recognition for arguably the most important person on the team?
Could not win a hockey game without a goalie.
No. Because you know what? Goalies can score goals too. Goalies also save a lot of goals. Therefore, entire lineup of goalies.
And we're looping back to that.
I will always loop back to. I think we need that to happen.
But yeah, in short, congratulations to Bobby McMahon for being the first official annual winner of the From the Fourth Line annual Blorbo Award. For the top Blorbo, as decided by your podcast hosts, your trophy will be coming in the mail as soon as we receive an address from you.
I hope you're looking forward to it, Bobby.
Yeah. But yeah, Stars and Avs, and then we can talk about PWHL hockey.
Yeah.
Stars and Avs. The Avs won Game 5. So they were 3-1. It was 3-1 Stars, and then the Avs won. So now it's 3-2 Stars. I realized the sentence that I have written in my notes about that does not make any sense, and I had to come up with a new sentence on the fly against Dallas. I think you know what, as cool as it would be for the Stars to have won Game 5 to win the series, I believe it was a Peter DeBoer quote, that it was like something where it's like hard to win 4 games in a row against any team, let alone the Colorado Avalanche.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was not from the head coach of Dallas. Maybe it was from some journalist or something who was like being like, "Hey guys, don't panic. It's hard. Like, you're playing against you're playing against Nate McKinnon and Cale Makar. It's hard to win 4 games in a row against them, let alone like you also have the rest of that Colorado Avalanche team that's really good." Like, they're not that far removed from a cup win, and the team hasn't changed like too much since then.
No. You know who they are missing? And who they will forever be missing? Erik Johnson.
Yeah, but now they have Casey Middlestat.
Yeah, but they lost Erik Johnson, who was like
Casey Middlestat scored last night, so
yeah, and Erik Johnson like was the star of the team. He scored all
imagine
the goals.
being Bowen Byram right now, though. Like, you're in Worlds because the Buffalo Sabres did not make the playoffs, and you're watching your former team that traded you away.
That'll be rough. Yeah.
But yeah, also as well, hold on, I gotta find this tweet about when I talk about how like physical the playoffs are this series, this is a pretty crazy story thing that I came across that I was like, I want to talk about this just so I have an excuse to call this podcast Tooth Fairy. The stories I bring up on the pod just to name the episode a certain thing it happens way too much, and it's great because I orchestrate it, and sometimes I tell Marcie about it and sometimes I don't.
It's like a little treat.
Like a treat. Like look at this fun little story. We were still going to talk about Stars and Avs, but sometimes I want to bring up this story in particular. Chris Tanev had to have a tooth pulled in the first period last night. DeBoer said he doesn't have many teeth left. He didn't have many to begin with, but from what I understood, it got pushed in. They had to pull it in order for him to come back. He didn't miss much, though. That man...
Not real.
He's going to be like toothless, like from How to Train Your Dragon.
What was that?
I don't know. It is 9 p.m. and I feel like I'm slowly losing it. We have to exclusively record these podcast episodes between the hours of like 11 and like 5 for them to be for them to make any sense.
I'm gonna clip that, by the way. I hope you know.
I'm ruined. My career is over.
Oh.
But yeah, man, Chris Tanev, again, that's another awkward one where like his brother's again playing at Worlds, and he's winning his series to go to the Western Conference Finals. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just, but yeah, I don't know what to say now. Moving on. PWHL playoffs. So PWHL Boston swept PWHL Montreal in 3 games, but all of those games went to overtime. So I feel like it was a very close series, no matter which way you dice it. Oof. Sorry, Marcie just tweeted something out. And I have my iPad set right here. So I get the notifications on it, and I looked over because it lit up and it shows me the full notification on my phone. And just saw that. Sorry. And then PWHL Minnesota beat Toronto in overtime to force a game 5. Toronto has lost the last 2 games in a row after being up 2-0 in the series. Also as well, because Toronto sports only like to cause us pain and suffering. Natalie Spooner is out for the rest of the season due to an injury that she sustained during game 3 because of an awkward hit into the boards. Very unfortunate for PWHL Toronto. She was a huge part of their scoring. She was like 40% of their scoring or something this season, which is ridiculous. But yeah, exciting playoffs. You can't say, actually, no, I will say, as someone who was flipping back and forth between 3 games last night at the same time, I did not check in much with the PWHL game because it was Minnesota and Toronto until it went to overtime, because it was an incredibly boring game to watch.
Yeah.
It was so boring. And I was like, you know what? It's fine. I'll just watch Knights and Gens and then Stars and Avs. It's fine. And then I got really excited on my couch and I got stressed, and then I got really, really upset when Minnesota scored in overtime. But game 5 will be played in Toronto. I want to say, I have to now check the TSN app. Again, like the day the PWHL gets like a Google interface,
it'll save us all.
Literally will save us all. I want actually have to hit leagues, PWHL schedule. Oh, it's tomorrow, 7 p.m. in Toronto. I will not be going to it because I will not be in Toronto that night. Going up north, baby.
Oh no.
But yeah.
Your north instead of my north.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out what to talk about next, because we don't have enough for a full episode. I don't know. It's the month of May. I don't know. I can't talk about the Indy 500 on the show because people do not watch IndyCar, but I do think people should get into watching IndyCar because I think it's really fun. And also, Toronto does have a race, so if you do find yourself in Toronto and you want to go watch cars drive really, really fast around the lakeshore, it's like the CNE grounds right there where like the X is. I don't know, tickets are really cheap. It's fun. Drivers are cool. There's no Canadians in it this year though, unfortunately.
I think they should let me drive a car really, really fast.
I think that's only going to end badly for you.
They should let me drive specifically my mum's tiny little, like, manual car.
I don't know. I'm bad at cars. This episode has been a mess.
Oh yeah, I mean it's 2 a.m. It's allowed to be a mess.
Yeah, but it's 2 a.m. for you. It is 9 p.m. for me. I should still be able to be a sentient human being who can put together a proper sentence.
Yeah, but you're just a little grandma that goes to bed early.
I went to bed at like 1:30 last night. Mostly because my sister was watching the OC really, really loudly in her room, and I could hear it from my room, and I didn't want to get out of bed to tell her to turn it down.
Very real.
Also, she's watching the OC, so like I can't say no to Adam Brody.
Well,
there's a rom-com with him on Netflix that's coming out in September, October with him and Kristen Bell that I'm very excited for.
Ooh.
You have no idea who Adam Brody is, do you?
Nope.
Did you ever watch Gilmore Girls?
No, I couldn't get into it. I
See?
tried.
This is what you could do this summer, is you can watch all of the teen dramas that I watch, so then I can make references that you will understand.
No, because I tried rewatching. I tried again to watch Gilmore Girls. Like,
You just have to
but-
watch the OC instead of Gilmore Girls.
yeah, I don't have time to watch stuff. I prefer movies.
I don't have time to watch stuff. Is also actively looking for a summer sport to watch.
Yeah, but like I can't. I prefer movies over like TV shows, just because unless it's like Hell's Kitchen, I'll binge that. But I prefer movies, mostly because I can log them on my Letterboxd and like I don't have to use a separate app.
You just have to like do what Cal's been asking us to do for months, which is get serialized.
I have it, but I just want to have everything in one place. So if I just watch movies.
True. I don't know.
So-
I'm a big TV person. I watch a lot of TV. Trying to think of what am I watching. I think I'm gonna start Bridgerton tonight. I'm trying to think of what I was watching.
Oh, stop it! I really want to watch the new series Bridgerton, but I'm not letting myself watch it until I've finished my exam.
So I'll just watch it and I'll send you a picture of me watching it.
You're so horrible.
Actually, I think I'm pretty great.
No.
Wow. Okay. I'm telling your mom.
Yeah. Whatever. Can't be you'd snitch on me like that. Oh my god, we are losing our minds.
We're losing our minds. I just want to make sure we don't like the podcast episode isn't like too short at the end. But actually hold on. Let's do a live score check-in.
Ooh, yeah.
Open NHL app.
Open NHL app.
It is 3-1 Carolina.
Yeah, baby.
Vincent Trocheck and Sebastian Aho.
Ooh.
Ooh, there is 14 minutes left in the third period.
Go Canes, go. I'm trying to think of anything interesting's happened to me recently. And it just hasn't. You look confused.
Who's Mark Savard?
I'm familiar with him, not overly familiar, but aware of.
Like the... Oh, yeah. Oh, actually, no, I do remember him now. Just like, because he... Why do I know that name more than I should, considering he stopped playing in 2011? Did play for Boston. I don't know. It's just that his name is getting thrown around as assistant head coach with Brew Babe. I don't know. I'm like sweating. Why am I sweating?
Because I'm just that hot.
Sure.
That was so mean.
Sorry, that was automatic.
You said, sure.
Sorry, that was automatic.
I'm telling Simon on you.
Oh yeah, you're gonna actually conspire against me with my boyfriend.
Yeah. It's gonna happen. And what are you gonna do about it? Not a lot. Oh.
With that, I think I'm trying to think if this is like...
You look very confused.
Oh no, I just saw Tyler Bertuzzi shirtless, that's why.
Oh, what a sight. Mm. I'm like looking forward to when we have genuinely got absolutely nothing to talk about, because that's when.
I know this is like the thing that's like we were able to talk about hockey for 45 minutes, and then the past 15 minutes of the show has just been off absolutely waffling about absolutely nothing.
Yep.
And mid-June is going to be the world's greatest time for this show because we will have actually nothing to talk. People are like, oh, guys, why are you taking all of like half of July and all of August off? Because we would have absolutely nothing to talk
Nothing to
about.
talk about. Like, there's only so many letterboxd reviews I can make.
We're not giving you a segment on here. You can just plug your letterbox and people can go follow you on letterbox.
I know, but let me talk about movies.
Well, I think we have enough for before we go though, because I've been putting this off mostly because I've nearly cried multiple. I don't even want to get too sappy about this. Marcie's watching and knows what I'm leading up to. But yeah, it was announced today that the host of SportsCenter and Sports Desk, it changed from Sports Desk to SportsCenter long before I was born. Darren Duchesne passed away last night at the age of 57. I know, along with a lot of Canadians, he was the voice of many of our mornings and evenings on SportsCenter. I watched SportsCenter every single day before I went to school as a kid. And so he definitely was what I ate my breakfast to, which sounds really weird. Why did I have to make it weird?
Oh,
I can't do this. When I spoke at my grandfather's funeral, I was handed a script of what to say that I didn't write myself.
Oh. Yeah.
And you tell?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to do this without crying because I watched the tribute video that TSN put out today and I did cry. So trying to do this without crying because I still have to get through an outro. But yeah, he was the voice of many for us Canadians. He's part of the reason why I fell so much in love with sports as a fan and as a watcher. And just best wishes to his family, his friends, and everyone over at TSN, who I know he made a huge impact on. Yeah. All right, I'm done. That was my sappy moment. Just, yeah, the loss of what sounded like a pretty awesome, cool human being who was very funny and very entertaining and loved what he did. And yeah. I don't know. See, this is why I saved it for the end, because then I don't know how we then would have been able to go about talking about like Chris Tanev losing all his teeth after that. Ooh, they should make, you know what? Because you know how they're making a Happy Gilmore remake?
Yeah.
Which, like, big news for all of the hockey players out there. I think that's major news because that's all of their favorite movies, despite that not being a hockey movie. It's a golf movie where they just happen to wear a Bruins jersey in it. Because if we use that logic, Ferris Bueller's Day Off is a hockey movie. Which isn't, it's not.
It's not, but it is now.
No, it's not.
Jersey makes an appearance.
It's not a hockey movie. Putting my foot down on that. It's more of a baseball movie than a hockey movie if we're using that logic.
Why can't it be a baseball movie and a hockey movie?
Because that's not how this works.
I'm just seeing how annoyed I can get you.
You know that Ferris Bueller's Day Off is my favorite movie. You know it's my favorite movie, and that I have the poster on my wall.
Oh, I know.
That I had to make sure that it was like at my head, the head of my bed, because it kind of like the poster that I have, Matthew Broderick is kind of like has like a Mona Lisa effect to him in that poster, and his eyes follow you.
Oh.
I kid you not, they follow you. So I had him in my res in first year. I had it like off to the side of my bed, and he was always looking at me while I slept. It was kind of
Ooh.
weird.
Yeah. Don't really
So
want that.
no, it doesn't really work, especially like, when you're in university.
Mm.
Like, it's just kind of a weird thing to have looking over your bed.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine it's not ideal.
Yeah. Anyways, that's all I'll say on that topic because my parents watch the show. Marcie got where I was going with that one though.
Hi, Mom and Dad.
Um, I don't even know if they listen like this far in, or if they listen to the first like 45 minutes, and then as soon as we start to lose it, they're like, "All right, that's enough."
There's like, but that's enough of Emma and Marcie for one day.
Um,
Oh my.
yeah, it is my favorite movie though.
As it should be. It's a good movie.
You've seen it, right?
Yes.
Just making sure.
Emma, it is also a movie that I very regularly will just watch in the background whilst I'm doing work.
Because I think was it Cal who hadn't seen it? I know someone hadn't seen it, and I got really upset by it.
I think it was Carl.
I think it was Cal. Yeah. Cal who hasn't seen, weirdly, like, there's a couple movies that Cal has not seen that I'm like, why have you never seen those movies?
Yeah. We've
I
got to
don't
do
know.
something about that.
We do have to do something about that, and we will. We will do something about that. It's
Can we
just like,
plug my Letterboxd?
well, put it in the description.
Yes.
I'll put
Go
it.
follow me on Letterboxd for some unhinged reviews.
I'll put it in the description of this episode.
Yeah, baby.
But yeah, no, Cal hasn't seen a lot of John Hughes movies, and it's actually deeply upsetting to me personally, who loves John Hughes movies.
I'm just surprised at how, like, some of my favorite movies. It's like Miracle, when he hadn't watched Miracle.
He hadn't seen Miracle. That's deeply upsetting.
That hurt me.
Do you know how many hockey players are personally offended by Cal not seeing Miracle?
A lot.
Matthew Nye's at the top of that list.
Matthew knows fuming. He's making a little cancel.
I canceled edit. I would love to know though, like, what is the most like what movie could you say that you hadn't seen that could out cause the most outrage among like a group of hockey players? Like if you just like put a hockey players like in a room, as if we don't do that already. If you walk into a locker room, like an NHL locker room, and you go, I haven't seen this movie, what movie would it be?
I feel like Miracle is up there.
Miracle's up there. I feel like Mighty Ducks has got to be up there. Mystery Alaska.
I'm trying to think.
Multiple, like any Adam Sandler movie.
Oh, Hit the Roof.
I'm like trying to think if there's any like classic like hockey movies. I did make a list at one point. Hold on. Where's my other notebook? Here it is. I do have a list in I definitely remember making this list. Because I don't remember who I sent it to, but I wrote out a list at one point. I'm going like so far back in my notes though. Like I've hit edits. No, that's here it is. Yeah, no, I think those, like, no, I think we've listed all the ones. I don't know. Maybe Joseph Wool would be like personally offended if you tell him you haven't seen Interstellar.
I would also be very deeply personally offended if someone told me they hadn't seen Interstellar.
Well, on that note, let's
On that note, follow me on Letterboxd for very entertaining.
on that note, while I
movies.
change the subject before I share information with Marcie that will shift her entire worldview on me. Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of From the Fourth Line. We will be back probably on Monday. Actually, I don't think we'll be back on Monday. We might record. Ooh, I don't know when we're gonna record. I'm realizing my schedule for Monday is kind of crazy because it's the holiday. And I'm going for brunch with friends and then going to a Jays game and then afterwards going out for dinner after said Jays game. So we might be back Tuesday night.
Who knows?
We might be back Tuesday. It might have to be Tuesday night. This is how we schedule things. I realized we did not decide this. I was going to say we'll be back on Monday. We probably won't be back on Monday, but if we're not back on Monday, we're going to be back on Tuesday.
Who knows? We'll just be a little surprise. We'll just pop up at some point.
You will get a tweet though from us when that podcast episode will be coming out. I forgot Monday was the holiday again. But yeah, thank you so much for listening. You can find the show wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow the show on Twitter at From the Fourth Line. That's fourth with the number 4TH. Follow Marcie on Twitter at 6Leaks. You can follow myself at PearB1 on Twitter. That's so fun. I don't know. Thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.
Bye.